Have you ever wondered what happens behind the closed doors of a casino when they catch a card counter in the act?
Any player that comes to the double deck game to play, if I don't know who you are, you're gonna get looked at just to figure out if you're an immediate threat or not to the game.
There was 3 dudes back there, like in surveillance. They're zooming in and looking at everything. We're just filming the whole thing, man.
Today, I'm gonna share with you a rare glimpse into a surveillance room as they analyze a card counter in action. I'm Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and for nearly a decade, I played on and ran blackjack teams responsible for beating casinos for roughly $4 million. The most active and famous of those was called the church team because the first few members were people that we met at our churches. And towards the tail end of it, we allowed my oldest friend Brian to film and document the inner workings of our blackjack team. The end result was an award-winning documentary called Holy Rollers. Well, one of the brilliant things that they did while filming that was they reached out to a whole bunch of casinos and said, hey, we're making a documentary about gambling in casinos. Can we follow your casino manager for a day?
I called probably 100 casinos.
And 2 casinos said yes. This set Brian and Amy up with an amazing opportunity. They knew they were going to be inside the casino and inside the surveillance room, so they asked Dusty, one of the church team members, to come in and fire away aggressively counting cards while they were filming.
I do go into every casino I go into trying not to get backed off, except in this one circumstance.
It worked to perfection, and they got the entire surveillance room evaluation on film. The clip I'm about to share is after Dusty has already been playing in the casino for a bit. Then I'll share with you what the surveillance room gets right and where they fall very short.
The guy that was on the back table, he bought in for $1,000 and he's moving his money a little bit. And he just had 3 hands at 200, now he's down to 1 hand at 25. He's got a lot of money right there. He's trying to figure out how much he's got. He's gonna buy in more money, but he's got money in front of him.
He came prepared.
And the fact that he's got money and he's buying in more means he's getting ready to put a bunch of money out there.
How much is he betting right now?
Well, anywhere from 25 to 3 at 200. Now he's gonna go 3 at 200 again. Not knowing where the count is now, I just pick it up where it is and see how it moves, if it goes up or down. I don't have to know what the count is when I start. What is it, +4 now, and he doesn't have any more room to move. He's already.
He has no money either.
He's got more. He's got a couple thousand more in his pocket. That wad he had in his hand. See.
Yeah, he still got more left.
He's not playing very smart though. He's already at the limit of what he's going to be allowed to play. You're only allowed to play 3 hands at the table limit. You can't put any more money in one spot. So the only way to spread the money even more is to bet more spots on the table. He'd have to ask permission to play 4 spots.
It's a bad double.
No. This is what I'm talking about, where you get, you have to play perfect strategy or you're not maximizing your advantage, and it can end up costing you money. The count's good for him, and he's just getting eaten up by the dealer. The dealer's got as good a chance of making a hand as they do. This could easily go the other way. Checking out his strategy right now because we don't actually have the actual count. We're gonna wait for the shuffle, and then we're gonna get a basic starting point, like a dead 0 to start at, and we're gonna be able to figure out by the end of the next shoe whether he's counting or not. Oh, there's the cut card right there, so the shoe's over. 20, 300 in green, and about 2,000 in black. Trying to be discreet.
What bet is out there right now?
It's $25, -1 count. So he's still winning, and it's -5 now. He's still not moving his money because it's a negative count. That's the predictability right there. All the way up to +5, he was playing a quarter. He gets above +5, he goes to 3 hands at 200. Now the shoe's been positive for a long time, and he's been staying at those 3 bets at 200. Now the count went from +14, dropped down to 5 again, and I said to him, watch, he's gonna drop again because it's only +5. And he pulled all his money back and went to 1 hand at $25. He's gonna get backed off tonight.
How long do you wait at this point?
I don't have to wait any time now, I'm convinced. I've seen enough. How you doing, man? My name's Greg. I'm the casino manager. Nice to meet you. I'm watching your play a little bit. Yeah. Decided we don't want to take your Blackjack. You're welcome to play any of the games you want.
I bet he's a 40.
Hang out.
It's 45.
Blackjack. All right? All right.
As we just saw, the casino's response to Dusty was calculated. Let's break down what just happened. People often ask me, how would the casino know that you're counting cards? I tell people there are two things that stick out more than anything else. One is big changes in your bet spread, the other is big wins. Card counters beat Blackjack with big bets and with big wins, but that is at the crux of the cat and mouse game with the casino. And while I'll get to what I don't think he got right, he definitely knew a little bit about card counting. The first thing he got right is he noticed the big changes in bets.
And he's moving his money a little bit. It's like I see him go from the one hand, now he's going, 3 hands at 200.
The second thing the manager got right is that he does understand the role of variance in the game.
You could be a great card counter and still be losing. The shoe could just not go your way. He may win thousands of dollars in a short period of time. You're only giving up the 2%. Theoretically, over the long haul, you're only losing a small portion of that money, but it's still a loss.
At one point he says, the casino has as good a chance of making a hand as they do. That's true. A card counter will win over the long haul, otherwise why would these casinos back off card counters? But in the short term, winning doesn't make someone a winning player, and losing in any given hand or shoe or night doesn't make someone a losing player. It's wins and losses that stack up over the long haul into winning for the card counter. The third thing he got right, and this is to me the biggest thing he got right, was his professionalism during the back-off. I've been surrounded by a dozen security guards. I've been cussed out by the casino staff. I've been detained, had the cops called on me, all because I was trying to use my brain at the game. There are a couple reasons why I think this is a big deal. The first one is if you're a casino and you offer this game, don't get all bent out of shape when someone wants to beat you at it. Imagine if I ask you to play chess with me, and then in the middle of the game, I realize you're trying to beat me, and I say, how dare you try to beat me at chess? It's ridiculous. And lots of casinos act this way. They're offended someone's trying to win. And I commend this casino manager for the professionalism he had during the confrontation with Dusty.
I don't enjoy doing it. It's not like I'm overly excited about it. It's business. I have to do my job. I'm paid to protect the assets of the company.
Let's talk about what I think he got wrong. First off, he doesn't fully understand betting strategy or bankroll management. Card counters play with a razor-thin edge, and if they aren't betting properly and managing their risk properly, they are going to go broke. And he doesn't really take the time to evaluate if Dusty is an effective card counter. He just sees changes in his bets, big bets and then small bets, and makes his decision off of that.
See him go from the one hand, now he's going, 3 hands at 200, and I'm thinking, well, that's a pretty strong move.
For every disciplined card counter like Dusty, there's another 100 that are overbetting their bankroll and they're gonna go bust. And the casino manager doesn't take the time to evaluate, is he disciplined or is he going to overbet and lose his bankroll? Secondly, he clearly doesn't understand true counts. He's throwing out numbers like 5 and 15 with no context to what the count is per deck, or what we call the true count.
Was it +4 now? +5, the count went from +14, dropped down to 5 again.
The bigger point here is that he doesn't really have the ability to tell if Dusty is a skilled card counter. Let me tell you why this matters. There was a guy at our first ever Blackjack boot camp. This is like 15 years ago. And the guy was not good. He had no concept of bankroll management. He was making basic strategy mistakes. He knew nothing about deviations, but this guy had the confidence to make up for all of his flaws. He was there simply to brag about how awesome he was and how many backoffs he'd had. That's right, even though his game was terrible, he was getting backed off left and right. After the boot camp, we asked him, hey, did you learn anything today? To which he said, nah, I didn't learn anything from you guys. I could probably teach you guys a thing or two. Well, fast forward a year later, and I get an email from him and he says, I don't know what you tried to teach me, but I've lost $100,000 over the last year. This doesn't work. To which I responded, you told us we couldn't teach you anything. I hear stories all the time of losing players. That means players without a winning game getting backed off from casinos. Some of them, they're just not good card counters, like the guy I just told you about. Others aren't even trying to count cards. They're just winning and casinos freak out and back them off.
I get a new player that comes in, you know, I've never seen this player before, and they start playing, you know, decent money, or they buy in for a decent amount of money. We're probably going to take a look at them automatically and just to make a spot decision on whether we think that they're playing at an advantage or not.
Honestly, I'd be shocked if casinos like this save more money from backing off legitimate card counters from all the money they're losing backing off people that aren't. But the smart casinos take the time to evaluate the skill of the player. Think I'm being a little bit harsh? Let me prove my point by taking a closer look at what the casino manager considers mistakes in this clip.
He didn't hit a 12 versus a 3, which is a strategy error. That was a soft 19 against a 5. There was also a time when it was +8, and he didn't take insurance, and we thought he would. We're sitting there like, yeah, he's gonna take it, and he never did. That's a mistake.
By the way, the full hour-long interview is in the membership area of Blackjack Apprenticeship, but what this casino manager calls mistakes are actually playing deviations. These are advanced strategies we card counters use to play differently based on the count. Dusty was playing properly. The casino manager is like, oh man, he's making some mistakes here.
He didn't hit a 12 versus a 3, which is a strategy error.
And if he actually is making mistakes, he should not be backing Dusty off. If a card counter is going to get backed off after 30 minutes of playing in a casino, how the heck does a card counter ever make any money at it? Let me explain in this video.